Welcome to the Geek Swarm YouTube channel. I'm Michael.
I'm Fee.
And on today's episode, we are going to be reviewing the RPG Dread, the game of horror and hope.
That's a tiny book, sir.
Yes, it's a very tiny book. But this game is all about suspense and horror. And this game is a diceless RPG.
Really? How does that work?
How will you play this game? With a Jenga tower.
Oh, I thought we were just going to play Jenga.
Oh no. Jenga and Dread go well together. All right. Crap. Give me a sec. Damn.
You okay?
Yeah. I'm trying to, my mind just kind of.
Trying to figure out what to say. Let's start. How will we play it? Then we can go review the session.
Okay, do we need to start from the beginning or you want me just to jump in?
I don't know, depending how, Bernie is editing.
Yeah. Welcome to this, Yeah. The game of horror and suspense, and then we'll, okay.
Well, we'll explain how to play the game.
Uh-huh.
You says dice and say, okay, how do you do that? Jenga, and then we'll explain how it builds up intention, and then we'll go over our review session of the game. Okay. Like that?
Yep.
Okay.
Welcome to the Geek Swarm YouTube channel. I'm Michael.
I'm Fee.
And on today's episode, we are going to be reviewing Dread, the RPG, a game of horror and hope.
No, that's the smallest RPG I've seen.
Oh, I've seen smaller than
Really?
that. Yeah.
So, how do you do it?
All right, Dread is a game based off suspense and horror and building up tension. And how do you build up tension in the RPG? With a Jenga tower.
Yeah, I was wondering when you had that inside, what the heck were you thinking of?
Yes. Dread doesn't use any dice to play. All you need is a Jenga tower, some paper, and the book.
Okay.
So, Dread isn't like D&D or any of those other games because it doesn't use dice and it builds up Jenga. It goes through basically like you're telling a story and you're building up tension and suspense, and then something happens. The tower falls.
Boom. Jenga.
And then you build back up, build up the suspense and tension. Something happens, the tower falls.
Yeah. So basically, any decision that you make from the DM, he will tell you, hey, you need to pull from this tower. It'll be a Jenga tower. And he'll tell you how many blocks you need to pull out depending on the type of, how hard the decision is, how difficult.
So for example, you're running away from somebody and I say, hey, there's a car in the garage. And you go to get in the car and you're like, are the keys in the car?
I don't know.
Make a couple of pulls and sure, there will be keys in the car.
Yeah, so instead of using dice to randomize the risk and reward, you pull out a Jenga block and then make the tower more unstable until we get to a certain point.
And the way you make characters in this game is different than anything else. This has a questionnaire. It has 10 questions that's going to ask you about your character. And each person kind of fills out and gives as much detail as they can. So whatever asked, don't just write like one sentence, kind of explain a little bit, because the person running the game is going to be using that questionnaire in your game that's going to reflect how your player does. So, for example, one question might say, how did you get kicked off, or why did you have to leave the football team in high school? So somebody may say, well, my grades were low and I got kicked off the team through that. One person may say, I just didn't want to play anymore, it didn't interest me, and gives their reason why. You may say, hey, I got hurt with my knee and my leg got broken and I had to quit the team. Well, if you wrote that, and the player running the game might take that into effect. So if you're running from, say, zombies and you're trying to jump through and climb up a fence, well, if you're trying to jump on this crate and trying to do all this stuff, the person running can say, hey, If you want to jump over the fence, it might cost 1 or 2 pulls for everybody else to do it. But your knee is going to start acting up, and you're in a lot of pain trying to move and jump over these boxes and trying to jump over the fix. So it may cost you 3 pulls to get over the fence, where everybody else only had to pay 1 or 2, depending.
Yeah, so that's pretty much how the game works. There's also one element that you didn't tell, is this: once you get to the Jenga tower to a certain level, or if you just want to do it, you can knock it over yourself.
Oh yeah. Whenever somebody makes a pull from the Jenga tower and the tower falls over, that player is going to be taking out of the story, however you see fit. The person, basically the game master, is going to decide how that person
dies.
Yeah, usually they die in this horrible, over-the-top tragic death. So, if you want to, like Fee said, you can knock over the tower yourself and die in a heroic manner, but it's still going to be bad and dangerous.
Yeah.
So, yes, if you're wanting to sacrifice yourself, like everybody's running for this hatch or something like that, and you're like, you know what, I'm going to stop them. I'm going to get this dynamite, light it and run it at them and tip over the tower. Okay, the dynamite's going to go off, and you may take out a lot of the zombies for the rest of the team, or whatever they're facing, but you're going to blow up. You're going to die.
Yeah. So that's pretty much how it works. You go through a story, and then you pull blocks, and it builds up suspense that way.
It's all about the suspense and tension, and the Jenga tower just amplifies that tension, because everybody starts near the table and playing and making pulls, and then towards the middle and end you could see people backing away from the table. They don't want to touch it because they don't want to knock down the tower. And that's when it's like, okay, here's the tension build, tower collapses. We re-put the tower together, make pulls to kind of wind it up a little bit more, and then it goes up, 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 tension, something happens, then it drops. So it just kind of roller coasters up and down as far as the tension till the game ends, and usually it's only a few people left.
Yeah.
So I ran this for the group. Fee, this was your first time playing Dread. So what did you think for the first time?
I thought it was pretty fun, just because it was a unique and different way to tell a story and to put decision involvement using a tower of Jenga as opposed to dice rolling for the randomness and chance. So you have a little more control of what type of decision you're going to make and how well you play Jenga. Pretty much, if you have a steady hand, you have a good chance that, you know what, I can make that pull. Let me try that.
Right.
But once you get to a certain point, it does build tension, because like if you ever played a game of Jenga, once it gets to a certain point, there's not many blocks that you can use. So you're stuck. You said, oh man, I don't know if I can keep this from collapsing. That's where the tension involves.
And you do not have to make a pull. If they offer you a pull for something, you don't have to. It's going to come back with negative effects, but you never have to make a pull.
Yeah, he says that.
Well,
but most of the thing you need to do, you have to make a pull for.
Yeah, like for example, the key thing. If I say, yeah, there's keys if you want to make a pull for this, and the tower already looks like it's going to collapse at any minute, you're like, you know what, I'm not going to pull. Okay, yeah. There's no keys in there, so now you're also stuck in the garage, and the people are coming, so now what do you do? Because there was one of your escape routes.
Yeah, can we get a laser? Or is that going to cost me more pulls?
Oh, that's going to cost you a lot of pulls.
Oh, man.
Because I don't think you have a laser just ready to go. Unless it's in the questionnaire. Who knows? Yeah. Maybe a scientist.
Maybe.
So, this is one of my favorite RPGs. I like running Dread. We try to play this every Halloween, and try to bring it out here and there whenever I get a cool idea. It's like, all right, this is it's the perfect game to run a lot of suspense.
It feels like it's really easy to run it, because once you get to do the questionnaire, then you have them go through a storyline, and they tell them what decision they want to make. So it doesn't feel that difficult for most GMs to learn and run it.
It's you're gonna have to know how to move the story and how to keep building tension as it goes, because that's the whole thing. If you make it flat where there's nothing really at stake, it's not gonna be very well. You want that tension and suspense to constantly build. And then, something happens just like in a horror movie where they all show up in, a cabin that's in the woods. And then they hear sounds, and then, something happens, and it's like, okay, so they're going slowly towards the window. And then when they open up, it's just a bird that kind of flew in it, or the window was cracked and the wind's blowing it. So they're like, okay, so then something else may happen, and then they're slowly walking to that, and then this is going to happen. So you're going to have to know how to build that.
Yeah, I personally would rather just blew up the whole place and not even get involved. But he wouldn't let me.
I think you tried, and I think you did tip the tower, didn't you?
I tipped the tower, no, but I want to do it at the beginning. I said, screw those people. Why am I here? This is bad. It's like a horror movie.
Fun. That wouldn't have been fun. Come on.
Like a horror movie. He said, it's better not to go into that creepy house. Can't I just blow it up and just get over with?
Oh, no. No, we're not going to do that.
Fine, be that way.
All right, so any final thoughts on Dread, the RPG fee?
Oh, it's really fun. There's a lot of good tension involved, a lot of interaction between everybody, and I thought it was fairly easy to learn. I know we say that a lot in our videos, but Dread was actually pretty easy to pick up. I don't know what's in that rule book. It doesn't look like much.
It tells you the different types of stories that you can play and how to tell, like how to do a mystery, how to do a horror, suspense, a thriller. It tells you kind of how to do each one, what are some key traits, how to make the questionnaire, because that's kind of the difficult part of the game is each character has a different set of questions. So they're not all the same. So especially like when you need like roles, like if you're doing like a ghost hunter game, you might want somebody to be the host of the TV show, and then you might have somebody to be a cameraman. So you might have some questions that reflect as far as what the cameraman would do and what the host would think. So that way they have the roles. Like in the game we did, y'all were in space. Yeah. So you had the captain, the medic, the technician. So you had different roles like that.
So, do they give you like scenarios in the book?
Yes, the game comes with 3 different scenarios. The first one, it walks you through everything that you need to play. It's like, here's what could happen, here's what they could do, here's how many pools, kind of a thing. It walks you through it. The second one kind of pulls back a little bit and lets you make decisions, but it still kind of walks. And the third one, I'm not going to spoil.
Okay.
So you'll just have to kind of get the book and read it and check it out from that.
And there's other books out there for Dread?
No, I think this is the only book, but there are other scenarios and stories online. Okay. So you can go and look up. I think on the website there was one that they put out where you play kids. Okay. So I did run that one. That one was pretty good. So yeah, I remember playing this. I played this at Gen Con for the first time like years ago, and had a blast, and instantly went out and bought it like the next day because it was so much fun. And then brought it home and ran it for the family, and they loved it.
Yeah. So if you want a simple game, or you want one game that's doesn't involve a lot of maintenance, like equipment to build. A lot of people probably have a Jenga tower.
Oh yeah, you already probably have that. So yeah, you don't have to get new dice, a book on this, a book on these, a book on that. You can just get the base book and a Jenga tower, and you're good to go.
Yep, and just get the people.
So definitely check out Dread. Play it if you go to a convention, or if you know somebody that has it, check it out. If you like horror and suspense games, definitely play it.
Yep, we would both recommend it.
2 thumbs up for me. All right, I'm Michael.
I'm Fee.
Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and check that button on the bell.
Check the button for the little bell. That will remind you that we have a new video.
Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any of our new videos. And thank you so much for watching.